Ways that Jordan Peterson has helped my life. I'm here just to share with you a few thoughts. I have been listening to Jordan Peterson, and I'm going to go see him in Amsterdam in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. He's going to be in the Lamar Theater. The first time I saw Jordan Peterson was on a clip from Big Think, and it was just this little clip with like 3 minute long sound bite about the need for hierarchies and how do you need something to look up. And I had been kind of pondering on that question and how to answer that question, and wow, and then it was, and it just clicked in my head, and I was like, aha, this person, and then I started looking what was his background, and then like the more I looked, the more I fell in love with what he was saying, and the more it made sense in my head. And after years of searching in philosophy, meditation, yoga, sex, drugs, spotlight, any addictive feeling good activity that can like trigger neurons to make you feel good, and like any addictive personality type knows what I'm talking about. We are driven to do things that feel good, but we don't know what those things are, so it can be a dangerous place. It has helped me immensely to just like not be a battle with men. Like I always felt like there was like this discord between men and women that was unnecessary, and that the feminist, I felt like, okay, yeah, you're right, because I see how women are oppressed, but at the same time I see how so many things have changed, because of the effort of a lot of women who wanted the vote. But it wasn't like a single woman or a single movement. It was just like a collection of movements or lives, people, and time and effort and situations and pressures and that came about, and we have to stop talking about things that happened 500 years or even 100 years ago and focus on what's going on now. Because I mean, there, of course, it's important to know our history and understand where we came from, and I beg you all to take a world history class, but at the end of the day, it's our lives that matter right now, like how we're dealing with things that happened in the past. And that is a very, very personal thing, because like we come from different backgrounds, and by this point I think many of us are mixed, and so we are integrating like the many stories and the meta stories and the stories of our peoples and the stories that connect us, to the world. I realized that I had heard from him before. Like I heard a clip because I was very into Sam Harris, and it got me through very rough times, and I would just listen to Sam Harris, and it just calmed my mind down, and it just made me feel good every time I heard him speak. And it's just one of those things about very eloquent speakers. And but I still was not sure. I was like not 100% with the atheist idea, but it made sense. It made sense. And then and I remember they talking about winning the games and the series of games. And I currently study like children's psychology, so I've been studying the way psychology, infant psychology developed, and with the different theories that were brought about by the scientists. And like example, Picho was one of the ones that I was just really like baffled, and I was just like, how can somebody have thought of this, and like, about moral and trying to sort this big conundrum of science and religion, to sort it out, because in a way we're all trying to sort that out. And but then when this very smart, intelligent, coherent people come and understand it and are able to articulate it in such a way that it makes sense, and then you're like, wow, bam, yeah, I get it, I get it, I get the circle, I get the eyeball, and then you start having even more realizations of how evolution has worked this way. Like I'm a linguist, and I love language, I speak 7 languages, and I'm very interested in how words came about and how language came about and which word precedes the significance of that, what the word means. So he's talking about so many good things about Jewish tradition, about Christians, and about the Judeo-Christian traditions. And it speaks so deeply to me because I can relate in so many ways. And then I just gain clarity. And now I'm just like sorting myself out and training myself mentally so that I can go back and slay some dragons, you know, and I so can go back to Venezuela, save my father from the belly of the whale. And that's my journey right now. That's exactly where I'm at this point of my life. So I want to give more background onto why it's been so transcendental, but I'm still settling into the thoughts like how massive, because it just answered a lot of questions that I had, and it just like everything made sense. Not that it didn't make sense before, but there was still some resentment, and there was still some kind of like not understanding, or like unwillingness to understand, or maybe there was something there that still was like, oh yeah, but then if God made everything, why did he let these things happen? And then I realized that it was all about each individual's freedoms, you know, and in that we are expressions of freedom and spirit in our body. We're an embodiment of spirit, and pretty much we are moving and creating with our minds, and the unconscious is so strong in most of us that we don't realize how big we really are, because we are connected to everything with our thoughts and in our mind. Everything is mind and matter, you know, and sort yourself out, and in that idea of like taking responsibility, which was something I already knew, and I have been very industrious in my life. I'm very like high achiever, highly competitive, in a way of like I've always wanted to be better than everybody else, in a way that I studied harder, I worked harder, I risked a lot more. You know, my ambitions are very big, but I was afraid of them, but I never back down, you know, I never back down on any of my ambitions. And I encourage people to like do the hard thing rather than like take the easy way out and weasel yourself into some position that you haven't really deserved, and really work your way, you know, like, and knowledge. And now I understand education and knowledge is the way to get there, you know, educate yourself. And I spend a lot of hours studying different things, you know. In my life I studied engineering, like which was very uncommon for a woman to study engineering. And I'm very interested in things, and I studied geodesic engineering in Venezuela, and we studied about volcanoes and how the belt of volcanoes react to the movement of the tectonic plates. And there's one called Kikamjeni, and it's very close to Venezuela. So yeah, understanding that nature has forces that are so strong that you can't really understand, and trying to understand it makes you like feel very small, but at the same time it makes you feel connected to this immense power. And then I studied languages in Berlin. I was in Berlin, and I studied in the Technical University of Berlin. I studied German as technical language, and then I understood about language and how language is so important, and how language evolves. Like, we evolve with language, and language evolves with us, and it's like it's a magnificent game. I came with a few prepositions or premises that are distilled from hours and hours of listening to Jordan Peterson on YouTube, and things that I just had thought before. I've been teaching yoga for the past 10 years, 11 years, and I've taught more than 2,000-3,000 hours of yoga to like thousands of people, and talk to people after classes, and people have real problems, you know. People have real problems, and And I'm always want to be there to help them get through it. And then I see that people need a lot of encouragement. People need encouragement to make mistakes, and not to feel bad when you make those mistakes, because like if you're not making mistakes, you're not going anywhere new. And I always think about also the guy who made the light bulb that I can't remember. Not Edison, maybe it was Edison. Pacific Bell. No, some of this guy, but he said like he made a bulb pretty much, and he tried 10,000 times before he got it right. So for 9,999 times, he had a failure and he dealt with it and kept going. And that's the key to brilliance. Like, keep making mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. I mean, you can't like walk back to the past. You can only live in the present and project your things to the future. And that's something that I've been also like integrating from Jordan Peterson, to like have a plan, make a plan. How would your life look like in 10 years? How is it looking in 3 years? And cleaning my room was huge. I have family and friends who are mentally ill. I've seen and been around a lot of people with mental issues, with mental, let's say, an inadaptation. And one thing I noticed was that their environments were very chaotic, dirty, disorganized, and then I realized that, yeah, exactly, your surroundings are a reflection of your mind. So if your mind is messy and disorganized, then your rooms are gonna look messy and disorganized. And then that really struck to me, and then every time I saw a messy room, and then I saw a person with mental issue, I kind of associated the two. Mental issues prevent you from cleaning the room, kind of. And why is that? Then I started asking those questions. I don't want to judge anybody. I don't really, especially not feminists. Oh God, no, I don't want to. Women are women, and we're okay to be who we are. And we don't have to be competing in the male hierarchy. I mean, if you want to do that, fine. And I guess that's a good thing too, for whoever wants that. But like, I'm happy having my children. And at some point, I'm going to have time to continue studying, to continue doing other things. And I've seen mothers who've done it. And I've seen it again and again. Women who have children are happier than women who don't. And that's a fact. So, whatever you say, like, if you can have babies, you should have them, because it's the biggest blessing there is. So never be ashamed of wanting to have babies, and suspend your career in time to have the miracle baby you deserve, or the rainbow baby, Oh God, no, I don't want to offend anybody or like make anybody feel bad or anything, but I can't like keep my truth inside. I can't like not speak my truth. And about cleaning your room, like, it took me forever to try to help to get my family to understand why that was important. And here some people underestimate that they have a room, because some people don't even have a room. Some people never had a room. Thousands of people died without ever having a room. Millions maybe. So, and for those who've always had a room, then cleaning up your room is trivial. But for those who maybe never had a room, and now for the first time have a room, having a room is, it's having a personality. It's having your space. That's who you are. Clean your room. Clean your room. Make it beautiful. Make it not just beautiful, but make it gorgeous. Beautiful. Espectacular. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. I mean, just make it beautiful. In a total sense of like, God is watching you. I act like if God exists. Me too. No, but I do. I love him so much. Peace and love.